Launch. All right. Let's see. So, what is the build on this Dire? I
Who
do
are you
not.
looking at? Kraz or Basalt?
Uh. Oh, it looks like it's
Oh, it's the
LBs
same.
and
It's a mirror.
PVCs. Yeah.
It is the
It's a
mirror
mirror
one.
match. LBs and
Okay.
PVCs.
Yeah, 5 LB5, 2 ER peep. Basalt has the spot that I would traditionally consider better in Solaris, but they're still both moving to the center of the map.
Yep.
I think they're just going to slug it out. I don't think anyone's interested in getting up anywhere high.
I think we'll just go for cockpit view for this one. They both see each other at the same time. I think it's just going to be a CT draw contest, honestly.
And Basalt has the opening advantage.
Yeah, I think Basalt is winning this CT drill right now. Krasnodebski is open. He's always going to make short work, and he's down.
Wow. Yeah, Basalt is, he's got some armor left, but he had initiative on that first shot. Alpha laying into it, clearly had the override on. Very nice.
And you see the damage. Very interesting that Kraz got about 70 less damage. So that is the first point going to DSC. Oh, I think I radiocasted that drop. Fuck.
So we had a little hiccup trying to get this starting. This is Fidelis Machina versus DSC. This could very well be the game that decides first place in Division A for Tournament of Stars Season 3. Fidelis right now has 106 points, DSC 101 points. I don't expect it to be a runaway victory for either team, but it is worth noting that Fidelis or DSC could potentially get third if neither team is able to score 9 points. So this very well could decide first, second, and third. And
absolutely.
Congratulations on the Vile win earlier versus 228.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Jay. This is Bowser. We fight robots.
Hello, everybody. It's scuffed cast, but doing our best here.
Must be casted. So yeah, round 5. The first duel is going to be what we just saw, the Direwolf B trial. Next, we are heading to Loud Jungle, 1 clan medium, 1 clan assault. I think we're going to see SRMs. Probably SRM Arctic Wolf and a freaking Stone Rhino or something like that.
Just managing stuff on the back end real quick. I gotta switch the map. It is Loud Jungle.
And then I think we're switching the sides of the pilots also. If that didn't happen already.
I think I switched their sides already. They're
Okay.
locked at 145.
So we have Chicken and Yan versus Monk and Carbon. I'd be very interested in seeing out of Monk or Carbon who's going to be the one in the assault. And if it's Carbon, how many AC2s does it have?
I would like to think both sides are going to bring brawlers here. So we do see them locked at 140. We're going to launching. We're going to start launching now. So 140 versus 145. I believe this is assault and medium, right? So I think there's a lot of combinations we could do here. I honestly anticipate to see both teams brawling here. But we will see.
I think this is where you bring your ToS. Let's get to a ramp. I'm going to go to the blue team ramp. And there she is, but that's not a ToS. Nyan in 4 AC-10, 3 plasma cannons. And then in the Shadow Cat, 1 AC-10, 6 AP Gauss for chicken. That's weird. I think they're going to maybe even try and kite with that Shadow Cat. I'm not sure what the intention is there.
I think that could actually work pretty well here.
Then on the other side, Monk's got an SRM Arctic Wolf, 4 6s, 1 4, 4 2s. And in the Stone Rhino is Carbon with 2 large pulse, 7 medium pulse.
Alright. I honestly favor DSC's deck here. I do. I think the trading Laser Bomb Rhino is going to be a little bit questionable, actually, because it doesn't really outrange the Ducker Rhino here.
What's going to be interesting is getting that Arctic Wolf engaged, because while Chicken and Yan could both shoot Carbon, Monk has to fully expose in a ground-bound SRM bomber to fight them. So their timing would need to be impeccable to make this work.
Absolutely.
Interesting enough, Chicken already
Chicken
down
getting
20%.
hard. Yep, down to 80% from that Laser Bomb Rhino and that Arctic Wolf combo. I think he took both Serms and lasers there. I think it's looking like Nyander's going to try and push maybe a little bit. That Arctic Wolf is going to be a big
Neon Stone
problem.
Rhino's direct counter to Carbon's, but that Arctic Wolf is, that's going to be the thorn in the side.
Right, and I think they're going to try and legging Nyan. Maybe it looks like the Arctic Wolf shot Nyan in the leg. Hard to tell here. But Nyan is going to have the advantage against Carbon Fire Stone Rhino because he's just kind of in the open here, getting DPS by both Chicken and Nyan. Carbon lost an arm, still good. Nyan drops down. It's now a series of 1v1s. It is a series of 1v1s, and I think Fidelis Machina is going to win this because the Arctic Wolf beats the Shadow Cat every day, and then, as you said, Nyan is halved. Carbon Fire is beating Nyan right now.
Yeah, it was great discipline by Monk, not just running in there and sending it.
Absolutely.
I'd say.
And there goes Nyan. Monk is hurt, but now it's a 2v1. Now Carbon's able to turn, and there goes Chicken Man, and that is it. Well played to Fidelis Machina, 2-0.
Great coordination. Only way that worked. That looked sketchy. And meanwhile, when you look at Carbon, he took damage when he was point blank versus the opposing Stone Rhino. I think that worked perfect. Yeah, 622. That's awesome in 2v2. Yeah, and saying earlier, this won't be a runaway game. We're already in the duels, and it's going to the third drop to decide it. Just super cool. And just as interesting, we actually, I believe we would need DSC to 2-0 to really get a meaningful win out of this one. I think so far ToS has given a real interesting look into what the metamechs are. So much of what's run in Worlds ends up being clan assaults and stuff like that. And the Stone Rhino has just been the official mech of ToS this season. Even the Axum, where people are like, it's a ballistic boat. How good is it going to be in Div A comp? That thing's wild. Like, it's the Stone Rhino as a mech. It's got good hitboxes. Most variants could run jets. Loads of firepower. It is just what the Annihilator dreams of being when it gets older.
Yeah, I agree, especially when we're in a clan-based league, right? And there's no Annihilator to begin with.
No, but I mean, going in, I'm saying like it's already showing its dominance against the clan mechs. I'd like to see how good it does in Worlds. I think we're just gonna see Stone Rhino everywhere, just like in TOS. Just one big Stone Rhino commercial. We have from Fidelis, Brower and Django. From DSC, Dire and Hollow.
And
Direwolf,
this
who's supposed to be
is
retired.
the light and medium, I believe, drop.
Uh,
Should be light and medium. So
Light and medium.
I would expect. I mean, I guess it's kind of a given, but I definitely expect to see warthogs. But perhaps if the one map he wouldn't bring them on, maybe is this one because there is a possibility. I think the warthog could get out traded by something like an incubus, or maybe the two mediums stacked up, or something of that nature.
Yeah. Then there's also, I'd like to see the betting odds on whether or not Django would be in a mech with or without jump jets. There is still the Ice Ferret. That Ice Ferret F, I think it is. That thing is wild. And if you look at the tonnage, you could definitely have Warthog and Ice Ferret coming from Brower and Django.
Yep, that is 80. You are exactly right. So that's what I would expect to see personally. I think the Ice Ferret is too strong not to bring. You just get a lot of utility out of it. It's very tanky. It's ridiculously fast. These teams are locked. We see Direwolf and Hall at 90, and we're going to launch. Launching now.
Does 90 put them at the max tonnage? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Math is hard,
Yeah.
but
Math is
yes.
very
There we
hard.
go.
Math is super hard. Yes, it does.
So we've got a 55 tonner and a 35 tonner. Warthog Lanner versus Ice Ferret Warthog. We do have Warthog Lanner versus Shadowcat Warthog. Please game, show me the build.
It's being very slow to load. I cannot see anything either.
Okay, Django's got 5 AP Gauss, 3 Plasma Cannons on the Mishipishu. Brower has 14 AP Gauss, 1 Small Pulse on the Warthog. Dire's Warthog is Medium Pulse and AP Gauss. And that is definitely a Red Laser Lanner.
Reactor online.
Yeah, it's almost like a mirror match going on here. I do think the Lanner has the advantage on this map, though. I don't know. Like, I think people would traditionally say that it's perhaps a Shadowcat favored map because of the range going on here. But I would actually say that it's very much Brawl favored, like Speed Brawl favored. And we do see the Lanner closing in here. He only took a little bit of damage. They know he's coming, though. Both Fidelis Machina's mechs, the Warhawk on the hill and the Shadowcat in the middle of the map here, they're kind of screening out both of DSC's mechs here. The Lanner is closing in, is kind of just sending it, I think. They're almost doing like a split push. Yeah, I think they're doing a split push here with the Adder coming around the left and the Black Lanner coming around the right, or I guess left and right, depending on perspective. And we do see it's kind of devolved into a series of 1v1s again. The Adder's almost just tanking the Shadowcat, I think. They're trying to kill Fidelis Machina's Adder as fast as they can. I think that's very smart. The Adder does a ton of DPS, but Hollow's Black Lanners basically have, if not, it is literally halved.
Yeah, 2 Small Pulse,
It
that's
took
it.
a lot of damage on the close-in here. Brower is going to go down, but he is not down yet, notably. He still is not down. No one's lost a mech yet. Very strange, but JP Django and the Shadowcat, 98%. Direwolf saying actually is the first one to go down, and this is going to go in favor of Fidelis Machina very easily here. I think this whip push was very mistimed from DSC, honestly, because the Blanner being so much faster than the Adder, like, it looked like the Blanner was already being engaged, almost 2v1'd, if you will, and the Adder was still running across the open. Well, it wasn't a 2v1, that's a lie, because the Shadowcat was behind him, but point being, it was very mistimed. Like, the Adder was still walking in the open while the Lanner was getting his face chewed off by their Warthog. And we can see that in the damage here. They just didn't get the damage out that Fidelis Machina did.
Yeah, it's also as if the damage isn't enough. Django was completely fresh. Yeah, it's a timing thing that happens. And boy, does it look rough from the spectator perspective. Do you have to wonder sometimes it looks good when you're on the ground? The timing looks right. You look like you're in the right spots, but you have to remember that adder's going 97, right? That land is going to buck 50. And on to our first real map, Crimson Strait, Theta, 200 tons, 1 cap conquest. Let's see.
I believe are the teams correct?
Yeah, Theta's
Okay.
Theta's the cap on Crimson that
Yes.
is over the ridge and through the woods, and so far away it might not matter. With the rule change because of the cave situation, I'm sure there's a little more room to play a cap strat here. I'd be interested if either team cares to do that. Realistically, probably going to be a bunch of Warthogs. Match time 15 minutes. There we go.
Yep.
Perfect. So team 1, north side. Hollow Dire, Chicken, Yan, Basalt. Heavy hitters, world champions. Fidelis Machina, Django Brower, Naveed, Kraz, Monk. More champions, more heavy hitters. It does seem like that Fidelis attendance is kicking in. They do have traditional light pilots in their roles. It is going to be really fun seeing Basalt suffer on a light drop. I hope he has a good time. I hope nobody gets hurt.
I think Theta is very interesting on Crimson because you have a lot of movement to get to this cap as opposed to a more central cap, right? It's the one that's all the way off to the side. So, and between the team's spawn points, you have a lot of ground to cover from running from spawn to the cap. So speed may actually be very important here in these first 1 and 2 drops. For example, like I like a Warthog, I think where it's impossible that you'd ever see a Warthog brought here. It's just too slow, frankly speaking. Especially to this light drop. You maybe even think about drop 2, bringing a Warhog or something, but yeah, I would like to think we're going to see a lot of Vipers here. And the reason I would think that is they have enough speed to, I mean, they're 140, they have enough speed to get from spawn to cap pretty quickly. And the important thing about this league, too, is you don't have a lot of differences in speed, right? There's not a lot of variation. Because there's not that many even clan lights, right, as compared to Ionosphere lights with different engine ratings or whatever. So you have like a couple different speed brackets, and the Viper kind of fills up one of the highest speed brackets, basically behind the Ice Ferret and the Black Lantern. So
well, I didn't think about it too much. I guess the Warthog would definitely be kind of turtly here. I wouldn't be surprised if, considering the pilots that Fidelis has, that they might look to kite this or something. There's so much open ground on Crimson. If one team tries to just do an outward push, or DSC specifically tries to do an outward push, Fidelis could just drag them through the water. And you see it all the time in Crimson, where you think you're going to push a grid and a half, and you end up going halfway across the map. I'm still, especially with the rule change, I'm really curious about whether or not the teams are going to take that Theta cap seriously, or if they're just going to go for the kills. And both team needs the points also. So
I think yes, that is actually a very astute observation to make for this matchup, is both of these guys do need as many points as possible to really secure first over the
yeah,
other team.
if you're going to lose, you're going to be doing some desperate stuff to make sure that, okay, sure, we lost, but we got 3-4 kills, something like that, to kind of
Right.
soften the blow. And let's get started. Hollow in a Jenner Fury. Chicken Man, Nyan, Dire, and Basalt, all in Viper Fs. I can't tell what's on all of these, but it's probably...
I can't see the builds yet,
Oh.
unfortunately. Dropship moment. If they were on the
Dropship
ground,
moment.
I could.
And from Fidelis, we have Kraz, Django, Brower, and Monk in Vipers. And Naveed also in a Jenner. But a big difference from the Fury. Naveed's got a Serm Jenner. Which makes me really happy.
I'm just waiting, twiddling my thumbs for these dropships to come down, man.
Suffering. Oh, here we go.
All right, they are finally coming down. So as you said, DSC on the north side here, arguably the worst side, has 4 Vipers and a Fury, and Fidelis Machina, on I think pretty universally considered the better side, especially because they have Saddle, has a SRM Bomber Jenner, Jenner 2C standard, and then 4 Viper Fs. So both teams bringing their full complement of Vipers, not unexpected. Looking at
And very interestingly, it does look like DSC is gunning it for Theta. They have all 4 of their Vipers going on the back line, in cover, unseen. Hollow jumping up to the, I believe, the Fox 7 scouting spot.
We do see that DSC's Fury has LMGs and a beam laser, very interesting, but all of their Vipers otherwise are LMGs and ER mediums, so they are aware, I think, that they're going to have to... I just went into the ground. I went into the ground. That's cool. So they're going to have to play this kind of area over here by Theta, and kind of in the water, and I think they're going to be kiting. Well, not even think. They're definitely going to be kiting. They're on the probably the better side for kiting. And obviously Fidelis Machina knows this. They're going straight in. And I don't know if
What's
they've
interesting,
seen them
if
yet.
Fidelis can close this gap, the DPS of their Vipers will completely outclass the DSC
So
Vipers.
Fidelis has found DSC for sure. I don't know if DSC has found Fidelis. They're more forward than I'd like them to be. Okay, they found Fidelis now, but Fidelis is already 300 meters away from the closest DSC Viper. And I mean, they're equal speed. So we saw that during earlier matchups in Division A, notably where Vipers chasing other Vipers, you don't gain speed. And that's relevant for DSC trying to kite more so than Fidelis. We do see
Django's about to get legged. Django is legged.
Yeah.
So that focus fire was top notch, but now
That
you have Kraz and Naveed on Basalt.
And they are
And
running.
begin.
They are kind of running in here, but they're just getting burned to death by these ER mediums and LMGs. Basalt is the first to go down, though. JB Django, they're probably just leaving him legged. DSC is otherwise fresh. Nyander will go down next, though. But we're starting to see Brower, Krasnopesky, and, of course, Django legged and barely alive. There goes Nyan. So, Fidelis is up 2 mechs right now, as where it stands.
Worth noting, Monk has no cord legs. His legs are very healthy, and he's on
Chicken Man self-destructs. That is very unfortunate. He was pretty healthy until he did that. So DSC is now 2 versus 5.
And Naveed has Hollow's number.
I thought they had a chance when they were still kind of in the back there, but now they're all pushed to the 4 corners of the world, and it's 2 versus 5. I don't think so. They have legged a lot of Fidelis' Vipers. We see Direwolf has lost an arm and is dealing with his issues of heat. Monkey open left leg, but Dyer's about to be legged. JB Django's 1-shot right leg. At this point, if I'm DSC, I'm looking to get kills hopefully here, but Hollow dies extremely fast in that Jenner to those 2 Brawl Vipers.
If I'm Dyer, I'm looking for Django immediately.
Absolutely. And I'm surely they're cognizant, and that's actually going to be it.
Oof.
That is actually all she wrote. That is a 5-0 clean
Django
sweep
lost
from
so much HP
Fidelis.
so fast at the start that I was just, oh, this is going to be a bloodbath. Like, easy DSC win. But you could see he stayed alive. He did damage. He got shots on almost every mech. I mean, it's just a testament to when you leg something, sometimes you got to finish it,
Absolutely, and I think we saw two things very importantly with that matchup. The first thing we saw there was DSC wasn't really able to get those wide angles, because ideally if you're standing somewhere and you're expecting an opponent to come at you, you want these wide crossfire angles, particularly to combat leg shielding and stuff like that. They weren't really able to get that wide angle. They weren't really able to do it. They had 3 or 4 mechs basically kind of on the same wall. And the lobby here real quick. Let me swap these guys around, kind of lose my train of thought.
Yeah, overall, it's really just those ER meads are not churning out the same DPS as the obvious lower heat small pulse. It was actually, shoot, I saw at least Django had micro pulse and HMGs. I'm pretty sure. But in any case, it's just in the battle of math, the heavy machine gun reigns supreme.
Okay, I think everything's correct. So, getting back kind of what I was saying. So the first was that they didn't really have a good crossfire just because of where they had to position, I think. Just that side of the map in general is not great for really, I think, doing anything, but in particular receiving. But of course, they made do with what they had to do. And it's even worse for brawling, arguably. So the other thing is they struggled a lot with heat. We saw it. Chicken Man kill himself via overheat, and we also saw.
I think Dyer blew his own arm off.
Yes, he had his arm cooked off from apparently overheat, as far as I could tell, and his other arm almost cooked off from overheat. And that's the thing with those ER medium LMG Vipers. They're super, super, super hot. Ideally, I think you'd like to supplement them with more sustained DPS, because if you're not able to just get those quick legs and kills, you're going to overheat. That is an inevitability, and if you don't, you're stuck to using LMGs, which have very little DPS and will not stop a pack of charging Brawler Vipers coming in your face. And again,
I think also
sorry.
On Crimson, there just might be too much cover.
Right.
I mean, it's even if you did the ideal situation, you drag the enemy team from C8, C7, C6. Well, now you're in the city, and any of your range advantages are gone. I don't know if there's any way to hold that sector against higher DPS Vipers. I don't think it'll work. Well, like you were saying, if you had one of them, if you had one ER Mead LMG Viper, that could be great. It could go unnoticed, unlooked at by the enemy team. I think that's what they were going for with the Fury. But Naveed 100% made the right play. Just gunned it for that thing, took away their opportunity from having a kiting mech farm them for the duration of the fight. And it really is like, I mean, there were, what was it, 3-legged mechs on Fidelis, and the others with cord legs. I mean, at least one of them with cord leg. It's the SRM bomber just reigned supreme over the beam laser Jenner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the third really nail in the coffin for the strat is that there's not a lot of verticality to play with the Vipers, and so you have no verticality to play with. They didn't really get damage on them at all until they were almost in their faces already. Like if they had maybe been getting damage from 500-600 out, like you could definitely see a Viper or two legged much earlier, and that could sway the match. Really, even one mech living or dying can sway these 5v5 light drops. And the other
It
thing
seems like they didn't make contact until they were in, I mean, really in the same grid, right? Like they were looking from the D8 border to just across the water. Maybe they saw them earlier, but if they did, then it would have been more of a reason to pull back, kite, do stuff like that. But it's, again, it's when you're on the field, it might look good. It might look like, oh, we're pulling them into our trap, especially with how quick Django got legged. But, the tide changed very quickly. So here we are, flip sides, DSC on the south, Fidelis, team 1. I believe believe this is 275 tons.
Yes, 275, and I believe both teams were locked at 275. No undertonnage shenanigans here. So now we're going to see Fidelis Machina contend with the, in my opinion, the much worse side of this map. And now we're going to see DSC contend with the better side. They have the saddle. They have all these mountains over here where my camera is. They have they have verticality to play with over here. That's a very important thing for scouting and for kiting, especially if Fidelis Machina brings like Black Lanterns or Ice Ferrets, which I would anticipate to see both, right? Especially as both teams burn their Vipers. The lack of verticality can hurt very badly if you're north side fighting into the south side here.
So real quick on DSC, we have a Fury. This looks like the AP Gauss build by the hard points, but I'm not sure yet. Nyandere in a skull. You have an execute. No, that's another skull. Basalt in a skull also. Then you have two Shadow Cats, a Prime and Mishu Peshu. Can't tell what their weapons are yet. So double skull, super cool. Then on Fidelis, they're sticking with the theme of fours. Naveed, Brower, Django, and Monk all in those loyalty ice ferrets with their super cool paint jobs. And Big Daddy Kraz in the Exy. That is definitely the M set of 8. He only has 5 energy in the torso.
What does the M set of 8 give, actually? I'm not sure.
Range.
Range. Okay, so definitely would anticipate to see ER larges. And that's exactly correct. So we see 4 ER larges and a fistful of micros. Classic Executioner build. We see Basalt Skull has Gauss 4 ER large. We see Hollow Shadowcat triple ER large, 6 AP Gauss. Nyander's Skull, quad ER large, Gauss. And then the Fury, double ER large, 6 AP Gauss. And then, of course, full Brawl for these Ice Ferrets. We do see the Flamers tacked on. Very good. Like to see that.
So real quick, it looks like Kraz is going for the island. On the other side of that, I don't know if he knows that Chicken and Nyan are coming up.
That's a very... I don't like that. I'm not big on that. This Executioner will get bullied very hard by really most of DSC's list here. But Fidelis Machina knows what they need to do. They're not screwing around with Theta at all. They are rushing platform. But they have been scouted. DSC has the Shadowcat all the way in the back of the map here behind Kappa. So they see every movement as it's coming. If I'm Fidelis Machina right now, we're just going saddle, and we're just going to send on Theta and make them come to us. Because this is, I think, fairly untenable to push into all this Crossfire Overwatch. Almost like a Worlds type situation going on here. We do see Kraz's Executioner getting a little bit of damage here, but really nothing significant. I don't like
it.
This
looks
push.
like Chicken and Dire are biting on him. I think Kraz looks very pushable right now. Those Ice Ferrets are fast, but they are not that fast, though it seems like DSC might not know that he's completely alone there.
So we do see that 2 of the Fidelis Machina Ice Ferrets, or at least 1, it looks like 1 scouting saddle, and 1 is going to get Theta. That's a smart play, while Krasenbesky's Executioner is falling back. I think that's also a very smart play here. I would wrap him, I think, all the way around, perhaps to platform. Really, you want him anywhere those ferrets are. You want to get damage while those ferrets are brawling, in my opinion. But DSC is going to have to move off of some of their power positions, off of the back of the map here. We do see a Skull sitting on Sigma, Shadowcat Island. They're going to have to push for this cap now. And they realize
Again,
we start seeing
full
movement
points
right
for
now.
a cap win still.
Yes.
Like, this is...
Yes. That's
so
super
the
important.
game has changed a little, because now Fidelis could turtle super hard. And like you said, it's only a matter of whether or not Kraz could run around the whole map quick enough, and he's there. He's almost to where he has to be. He's just got to get up high. Fidelis has the ultimate trap. If you push over that saddle, you are going to get eaten alive by those Ice Ferrets. There is almost no DPS from this DSC deck that could deal with that.
Absolutely, and we do see...
I don't know what they're going to do.
We do see Krasenbesky's Executioner. He's taking a break in the city, but he is rotating more towards the other side of the map. I think that's smart, and he has an Ice Ferret as a bodyguard. I'm not sure about that, because the Ice Ferret will not save that Executioner if he gets dive. It'll just end up being a free kill, but it is extra scouting, which is probably useful right now. I don't think they see DSC pushing saddle, though, or likewise, I don't think DSC knows that Fidelis Machina is sitting saddle. This is going to be really interesting. We do see DSC stop their roll a little bit. They have 2 Shadowcats and a Jenner here on the platform with the Skull sitting island. I don't like this. DSC is going to be super, super, super careful. If Fidelis Machina realizes what's up, okay, looks like DSC does get shots on the Ice Ferrets hiding behind buildings, so they know what's up. We do see the Skull sitting on an island, but they're going to be moving off. I think they should be moving off. But it is, of course, dangerous, because if they're pushed up to saddle and the Ice Ferrets aren't pushed off by Fidelis Machina's lights, then those are just free kills for those Ice Ferrets and Executioner.
I understand what DSC is trying to do here. They're trying to make the angles against specifically Brower, and you know, they're landing some serious shots on him. He's not going to get out of there for free. And while it is, you know, we are 5 minutes in, if they could keep this pace up, I mean, they outnumber Kraz. They should be able to poke him. He's just 1 ER large mech. I just think they need to coordinate. Really, it is really tricky, because now, especially because they know that Fidelis has those 4 Ice Ferrets, that is a minefield. And to have Nyan and Basalt just waiting for a pushover saddle or something like that, I think Fidelis is just going to wait him out. I think it's exactly what you said. They've got map control. They've got the advantage. They have the DPS. Yeah, the Fidelis pilots just need to be disciplined and stay in cover. It's always tempted to look. It's very tempting to scout. But the enemy can only come from one place.
It's a dangerous waiting game here, though, for DSC. The longer they wait, the more caps get swayed. And if your lights, because they only have 3 lights, if those lights get lagged by Fidelis Machina, I mean, it's kind of like a ticking time bomb almost, I think. However, Fidelis Machina is bleeding. They're kind of bleeding a lot with these ferrets. I don't like this. Nava down to 84%, Brower 87. I don't think it's any serious damage, but any bleed helps DSC right now. Any bleed they can get helps DSC more than it helps Fidelis Machina. So we do see DSC starting to get aggressive with the Shadowcats and the Jenner. I think they realize they pushed off and are continuing to push off Fidelis Machina's Ice Ferrets. Do you see Krasn and Pesky getting some damage out and damage in return? I think that also favors DSC, honestly, for those 3 mechs shooting into Krasn and Pesky. This is going to be a tricky game holding this Theta cap as DSC starts to move up their assets, including these Skulls now are finally pushed off the island. They realize, I think, that the Ice Ferrets have been screened enough and that they have the space to take saddle. This is going to be very dangerous for Fidelis Machina if these Orions get to the saddle uncontested and unscouted. And it seems like that might be what will happen.
So what's interesting here is if DSC eventually makes it to the cap and they've killed some of the Ice Ferrets, there is a point where one of the Ice Ferrets could just run and claim a cap win.
So real quick,
and
we do
we're
see
getting dangerously
Shadowcat.
close to that.
We do see Shadowcat on Theta right now for TSC. He's getting that cap. Fidelis is not really in a position to intercept this Shadowcat. They are moving to try and do it, but do they get there before the Skulls get on saddle? It looks like possibly. The Shadowcat runs off for DSC, so they will not get that, but they took about half of it out.
I honestly, if I'm Fidelis, one of these Ice Ferrets has got to just leave. They're here to get the pick on the Shadowcat.
They're going to try and get the Shadowcat. I think that's super dangerous. They aren't bleeding much for it. DSC wasn't really ready. The Skulls weren't really on saddle. They're here now, though, on the saddle. Kratzimez, the Executioner, is kind of getting burned down by these Skulls. He's going to get ran up by the Jenner and the 2 Skulls. He's going to go down pretty fast, but they already got Hollow. They got their pick. Kraz is going to go down here. He will go down. These Ice Ferrets need to react on something here.
It does look like Monk's got Dire, and it is on the other side of the ridge. And here we go. It's time for the Orions to get jumped. They are targeting Nyan first.
And they stopped shooting Kraz. So Kraz is just going to get free back shots here at this point. Oh, he doesn't have much DPS, but he does have damage, especially when
he's got all his guns.
Yeah, and this Orion is going to go down. Basalt is going to go down. Direwolf Sang goes down. We do see Ice Ferret over here. Oh, Nyander goes down too. Oh my goodness. These legs on these Skulls just absolutely evaporated. And that's it. DSC is going to go down here. Very convincing win.
I think DSC knew they needed one decisive move to try and get it, and just timing didn't line up. I think it's exactly what you said, where the Skulls were not... They weren't where they had to be to save Hollow.
Yes.
And honestly, Hollow didn't even make it over the mountain either way. So it's really... It's rough to see. You want to see the big shootout and stuff like that, but those Ice Ferrets are nasty. They dropped those Orions so fast. And that was only 3 of them. The other one was chasing the other Shadowcat. I mean, 3 ice ferrets dropping 2 skulls in seconds is it's rough.
And so we do see, looking at the damages here, not a lot of damage going on here. Really, Krasnodebski actually, considering he was the focus target, he still got the highest damage. I mean, they didn't get mileage out of the skulls. The skulls just evaporated. We see Basalt barely even 200. It's super unfortunate to see, but I don't know. The skulls needed to be saddle sooner, genuinely.
And just to be clear, did DSC did get a kill that drop?
Yes, they did get a kill.
It puts them in a rough spot. I want to pull up the tournament page. So DSC only has 101 points right now, and they've only scored 2 so far in this game. The best they could do if they sweep 5-0 both drops is they will tie for second and have to go to a tiebreaker with Vile, but Fidelis they have some momentum, man. It's going to be hard to shake them. Like coming off of a 5-0, I mean winning the duels, a 5-0 and then a 5-1. If I'm Fidelis, I'm feeling really good and really confident.
Absolutely, I agree. I think their strategies have just been better, and I think their mech lab picks have been better too. I don't like the fact that DSC completely forgone, or yeah, they completely just skip the ice ferrets. I don't like that. I think that mech is too powerful. You have to bring it. I believe it's a requirement, genuinely so. And even on this map where you have verticality to deal with, but DSC was on the side where the verticality advantaged them. So I'm surprised to not see those ice ferrets, and I'm just surprised to see such a heavy focus in range trade when you have this ice ferret death brick that just runs forward and kills all your mechs. And on top of that, ice ferrets get flamers for free. I didn't really get to see enough if that had an impact on DSC's mechs, but surely it did to some extent because they're all your larges. The flamers, like, they're doing probably like 12, 13 DPS before crits or whatever, and you've got the flamers, and they're super tanky, super fast. Like,
It is a piranha that's as tanky as a Black Lantern.
Tankier, I would say.
And faster.
For sure. Yeah, tankier, faster. And Fidelis Machina did bleed a fair bit of HP, 40, 50, 60% or so before the push, but it wasn't really meaningful, right? It's just bleed. It wasn't really any serious big damage coming out. So moving on to Polar Highlands. 375. DSC does have to lock first for this next series, if you will. Polar Highlands drops.
Is this one a weird cap?
Yes, it is
Kappa. Well, that's fun. Is this not the southernmost? Yeah, it is. Oh boy.
Yes, it is. It is the cap completely in the open here. So, and I believe DSC are south, I think is top spawn, is south? Or is that north? I might be mistaken.
So, one thing we haven't seen yet is if a game does get close to the time limit, you can now cap the point and run away with the cap victory simply by stepping on it for 5 seconds and getting 1 point on the conquest bar because we're limited to only 1 cap. So I'd predict both teams bringing some kitey stuff here, maybe range max, stuff like that is going to start to get better, right? Because you will be able to just out DPS, let's just say a SRM rush or something of that sort. So it's really tricky. The change of Polar Highlands has. I still feel like the meta hasn't been found for it. I mean, you could do a full brawl rush, right? DSC could come back and use some maybe Ice Ferrets and Executioner or something of that sort. But as we get up in tonnage, the game's getting slower. It would be very hard to predict what either team's going to bring here.
I would agree with one caveat. So Team 1, who is DSC, they have North Spawn. And North Spawn means you get Epsilon. Epsilon has much closer lines of sight over Kappa than Sigma does. So if I'm Fidelis Machina locking in second here, I'm looking at DSC getting Team 1 Epsilon side first, and I'm thinking they're probably putting something with range, perhaps to jump on the buildings on Epsilon Cap to look down at Kappa. You can see everything from on top there. Unfortunately, this is another map with drop ships, so I cannot look at the builds early. It seems like I'm loading in much faster than everybody else. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is.
So what it looks like, unless I'm being seriously deceived, it seems like Kraz is in an ERP Bexy. Monk is in the XEM set of 8. You see the signature 5 hard points in the torso. It looks like Naveed is also in a 3 ERP Bexy. Unless that's some really, really hipster plasma cannon build that I can't possibly understand. That looks like 3 ERP PCs. And then they've got Brower and a Shadowcat on top of it. Oh, and Django and a Shadowcat.
So
It is interesting seeing them use their Xyz, the rest of their Xyz here instead of the final drop. Probably means we're going to see a lot of Stone Rhino.
I think that's very smart because, like you said, we're going to see a lot of Stone Rhinos, and that's basically the best mech in this entire tournament for all intents and purposes, especially in some of these bigger drops. So we do see these teams dropping in here. As you said, Fidelis Machina has 2 Shadowcats. Two Shadowcats and 3 Executioners, and we see actually a mirror deck from DSC, triple Executioner, double Shadowcat as well. Let's look at the builds here a little bit. Nyander, ear large, Monk Yasto, ear large as you said on that set of 8. Navid PPCs, Django Plasma AP Goss on his Shadowcat, Brower the same. Direwolf saying double ER PPC AP Goss and his Shadowcat. I like that much more than the Plasma personally, and with DC Hollow running the same,
especially for this map.
Yes.
And you got to remember with those range quirks, they're already shooting at each other.
Yes.
Like the fight has started. This is the battle of the PPCs versus the lasers, right? If you assume the pilots with the ER PPC Xs can make perfect peaks, they will win, but the ease of use of the clan ER large, man, especially having 5 of them on a range quirked assault with great mounts. Early advantage, I would say, to the ER larges. It does look like they traded slightly better.
Damage is pretty minimal right now, though. Neither team is running onto Kappa. They both have full lines on it. Very interesting, though, that DSC has abandoned the EPSI high ground. You think maybe they stuck one of the range quirk Executioners on there with the ER larges to get so much free damage and denial on Fidelis Machina, but they're not doing that right now. Not doing that at all, actually. The Executioners are kind of just moving together in a ball towards the edge of the map here. I like Fidelis Machina's movements a lot better, personally. I think they have a wider spread. I think DSC is falling into a common trap.
Fire disconnected.
Oh, did he? I think, can they call a hold on that? I'm not sure. He does look like he's disconnected.
A cap hasn't been taken.
It's 2 minutes, I think, right? It would be up to the teams to call that, of course, but I would agree. He appears to be disconnected.
I think it will be rough for DSC to shoot themselves out of this 5v4.
And if I'm Fidelis Machina and I see, because usually disconnects come up in chat, so if I see the guy disconnected, I'm getting aggressive. I know we're up a mech for free, and we kind of see that happening right now. Honestly, We see DSC bleeding very heavily. Nyander 81%. Dire saying obviously disconnected 81%. Hollow 72. Basalt and Chickenman down to 80 as well. So the Executioners have bled 60% health total. Meanwhile, Krasnopetsky still 89. Navid 93. Django bleeding a little bit in the Shadow Cap, but still no major damage going out here. But DSC is definitely down on these trades, particularly when they're down a mech. Again, I still like Fidel's macro positions much better. We see they have an Executioner here on the right with that Shadow Cat. We do see they have two Executioners in the back, kind of forming a concave. DSC is still very much in one grid square. They kind of have that one grid square effect going on right now. I don't like that. They're going to have to get decisive, I think.
And it's talking about the perfect peaks with the Exi. Navid has lost 4% after jumping 6 times and landing all of his peeps on target. I mean, it's if you have the skill to do it, you know, here we are, the PPC beating the very dominant clan ER large.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that's always how it's going to work, because the Xy's have to either fully expose to get their ER larges, or if they're not exposed, they're not really shooting. Meanwhile, Navid's Executioner with the PPCs can just pop-tart them. So it's almost like farming like ER large direwolves in a sense. Yeah, they have better mounts, sure, but PPCs versus ER larges, when you have terrain and jump jets to work with, will almost always win. And we do see that coming out of Navid here. Still 89%, tons of damage out, massively out-trading these DSC ER larges. They're just not going to get effective damage on these pop-tarting Executioners and Shadow Cats with these ER larges. And that's kind of what we're seeing, I think. Almost like a drop-dick mismatch right now.
Wait, and Direwolf is back.
He is back. That will help
This could get
DSC quite a lot, having him back.
It's not in the dumps. Django and Brower are super hurt, 67 and 47%.
They are getting squishy, yes. I think their Shadow Cats need to relax. I think at this point, if you're Fidelis Machina, your Executioners need to be telling your Shadow Cats, relax, stop peeking up, stop taking damage. We're winning trades very heavily. Let us work. Because if they do lose these Shadow Cats, that will be very problematic, in my opinion, on this map with this cap layout. We do see DSC getting aggressive here. I think on this left side, they're moving up an Executioner, they're moving up a Shadow Cat, and they're moving up another Executioner. Oh, really good damage in the JP Django, down to almost 40% here. Actually, percents are pretty even. Fidelis Machina is bleeding actually very heavily from this DSC aggression here on the left.
Yeah, and you have Chicken still not cored, even though he's at 63%, is finally getting hard usage from his ER larges. And he just cooked Monk pretty good. Monk is now cored. Kraz is stuck out in the open. His support is Brower in a 67% Shadow Cat. I mean, they're trying to push Chicken and Dire, but Chicken and Dire had left. I think DSC is more than in this fight. Basalt closing in on Navid and Django.
So we do see Monk Yasto is one-shot CT going into the cockpit views here for a second while we have this little bit of downtime. Monk Yasto is quite literally one-shot CT. Navid is getting pretty heavily pressured. He's losing heat sinks, but he's still okay. JP Django is... Oh, JP Django might go down here. He got caught by Chicken Man, opened up in every single component, as well as missing an arm. Chicken Man is open CT, though. Brower pretty fresh, as long as he didn't take a big shot to his right torso. Direwolf saying one shot in the rear. Maybe that was from when he's disconnected, maybe it wasn't, but Direwolf saying is literally one shot in the rear. Super bad. Otherwise fresh on the front. Hollow missing an arm. Otherwise, he's pretty good. Basalt still not quite open yet. So I would say this is absolutely going favor of Fidelis Machina. I can't even see the name right now. But it can change. So we do see Navid goes down. He's getting kind of pinched by the Fidelis Machina mechs. And we see JP Django going down as well. Right as I say that, Basalt does go down, though. But right as I say that, it definitely swung in favor of Fidelis Machina here. I still think DSC is the advantage, though. DSC absolutely is the advantage right now, with Hollow being pretty fresh.
Monk, and again, Monk is core deep orange.
Yeah,
right?
And Brower is going to
Brower out in the open.
He's going to get taken out here.
I think DSC is going to get this. He looks very stuck.
Direwolf saying goes down. Brower is
Monk with his
quick.
cherry red Xy's still killing things. Like, it's again, if you have someone that hurt, you gotta dig in and find him.
Do you see this 2v1 going on Krasnopetsky's Executioner right now? He's red. I mean, this is a cockpit view moment right now. So Neander's open everywhere, still has all of her weapons. Krasnopetsky one-shot CT. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, though. He's looking at the Shadow Cat, but the Shadow Cat only has a couple weapons. He needs to be looking at the Executioner, who's open right now. Maybe it's just kills at this point, right? He's going to go down. He knows he's going to go down. There he goes. He does go down. Hollow lives tanking that as Nyander. Nyander pretty much has 2 weapons. Okay, so Nyander is pretty much stripped, but it is 4-2, and I think the displays are bugging right now. Or no, is it? Yeah, the displays are bugging right now. I believe it's literally just... Who is this? Monkey Asto and his one-shot Executioner. He does have all of his weapons, of course. Neither team still has grabbed caps. Depends if DSC, at this point, is aware that Monkey Asto is one-shot. Chicken Man does go down. Actually, that's really important. That's actually huge.
That's huge.
That's huge.
So there's the 2 ER large of Div A,
Yes.
right? Hollow's got to do something. Maybe
He's got a
to get
single
in there.
ER PPC, but he is going to grab Kappa uncontested because Fidelis Machina no longer has the width to contest
Oh, the strike is coming in on Kappa right now, I
does
think.
he see it? Does he see it? We're in the cockpit view right now looking at home. He does not see it, but it was a near miss. It was a near miss. It was not directly aimed at him.
That's ridiculous.
I think Monkey Asto can pull it out, but he has to be careful. He's not red.
He has to go for Nyan. He has to
Right.
focus on taking Nyan out.
I think there's another problem here. Time is getting short for Fidelis Machina. Time is getting very short for Fidelis Machina. I think Monk is just going to have to bite the bullet and go. Because DSC, if they get this cap win here, if he takes too long, they get this cap win, that's a full 6 points. Really helping them catch up here in this neck-and-neck division placement match, if you will, honestly.
Yeah. So, right now, Nyan's pied off from the fight, but I don't think Nyan's concern is killing Monk when Monk is 2,000 meters away. Monk has to go onto the cap.
Yes.
Hollow could stay behind that corner and be just
But
as
Hollow
effective.
just took a bunch of damage. I think he
Oh.
might have lost his last weapon.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hollow's
he did lost
weaponless.
it. But Monkey Asto is cherry red. He has cherry red, so even Nyander's 2 ER larges get the kill at this point. Meanwhile, Nyander is not quite cherry red. So really, Monk is going to have to make a serious outplay here, I think, to grab
Monk
this.
is registered as dead in my...
That's hilarious.
He's registered as dead in my paper doll.
That's actually hilarious.
He needs...
He's going to
He
try
needs
and
a
make this
perfect
outplay
turn.
here. He is going onto DSC's side of the map. He does get it. Oh, does he kill? No, that's not quite a kill. He now needs to reposition. But
Now,
Nyan
Nyan
is
is
basically
on
red.
my
Nyan
map.
is basically red. Oh, this is such a close match. I think one more shot like that, and Monkey Asto gets him. But again, caps are ticking. I don't think actually at this point in time he gets it on caps. Right now,
Monk really... We are in the cowboy duel. Whoever shoots
Right.
first wins.
And at this point, they're just killing for points and/or pride. 4 minutes left. It's with 73 points here. He would have to D-tick this right now and go to Epsi and grab that in order, I think, to win. And I don't think that's going to happen here.
He just lost the burn on Nyan,
He
and
did.
Nyan is now showing him
Nyan
out.
knows, though. Nyan knows. Does Monk know? Oh, Nyan's going to get a... Oh, almost one shot. Hollow's just playing Ring Around the Rosie here. I think that's a dangerous game.
Hollow's spotting.
You're feeding Monkey Asto
That's
a kill,
it.
though. You're feeding Monkey Asto a kill. Oh, well done
Nice.
to DSC and Nyander.
From
That
across
was
the map.
way too greedy, I think. If the Shadow Cat made himself an easy target, yeah, go for it. But, yeah.
I love that Dyer
That was super
reconnected
good.
and made up for all of his lost time. I mean, he got
Yeah.
aggressive immediately. 279 damage. It's not like it's a lot, but the first thing he does when he connects is he pushes Kraz. Right? He immediately gets aggressive. He pushes that Krasnopevsky-Brower duo and forces them to move. I mean, they had free reign over DSC at the time. You know, Dyer coming back at that moment, immediately getting into the fight. Not like, maybe I'll go cap, maybe I'll go run around, go pop dart here. He pushed a basically fresh executioner to kick it off. Lived a long time and helped secure that win. And obviously, great shooting by Nyan. Great shooting by Monk also. That was awesome. That was one of the best range duels I've seen this year, actually.
So real quick, just going to swap these teams, and we can look at the damage here. The damage tells, I think, a very interesting story. Very interesting story for the damage here. So teams are swapped. Where the team is swapped. So looking at the damage here, right? We see that Nyander got so much work in her Executioner, but I think Basalt had trouble a little bit, and I don't know. Like, we look at Fidelis Machina's Monkey Asto 851, Krasnopevsky 712. Navin is actually interesting. He was getting damage in early, I suppose, but not too much as it got late. He did die relatively early. I think Fidelis Machina's Shadowcats, they just took a lot of damage very early, though, from the Earl Largest. They got themselves burned very hard, very quick, and I think we saw that as the match was playing out. So
I'm a huge fan of the ERP AP Gauss Shadowcat over the Plasma or shorter range one. That
absolutely.
was, yeah, it put in work. I mean, and then even later in the game, the Shadowcat play from DSC, Hollow running up on Naveed, recognizing, okay, this Xe is beating on my assaults. Like, I'm going to beat on it instead. And it simply can't move Navid couldn't move his mounts high enough to shoot him. So Hollow got 2, 3 free shots in there. And even though yeah, sure, with the AP Gauss, he might have done like 40 damage, something like that. But over a game that long, if you're averaging that much damage a minute, you know, goes really well. Even the early tick damage was pivotal to the victory. Yeah, the freaking the ER large, man. They will always be good. It's a fundamental thing. You don't need to calculate the lead time on your laser beams. And I was rooting for the PPC team too.
So these points, if I'm inputting these points correctly here, it is getting neck and neck for these two teams coming into this final drop. Oh my goodness, this is exactly as close as I expected it would be, but it's still great to see.
I'm doing math. I'm sorry.
I think my math might be wrong here displayed on the stream, but it'll be sorted out anyway. As of right now, if my math is correct, Fidelis Machina is leading by just a few points here, 15 to 13. Again, my math might be wrong there, but it's super neck and neck. This is going to be really interesting. But for this last match, which is basically winner take all with how many points are on the table here, or how close I should say the points are for this division for these top two teams, Fidelis Machina does have to ready up first. So we do see them readied up already at 445 tons. If I'm DSC, well, there isn't a huge amount to infer from this, unfortunately. Probably
Stone
just 4
Rhinos.
Stone Rhinos and a Shadowcat. Very
There's
likely.
Did DSC use all of its Xyz?
No, both teams. Sorry, Fidelis Machina is out of Xyz, but that's fine. But no, DSC still has an Executioner left remaining.
It seems like just running Stone Rhinos would be better. I am trying to do the exact math on the score, by the way. I want to see where we're at here.
So we do see DSC just about ready here. The lance composition is basically the same, and the tonnage is the same. I mean, realistically, I think just Shadowcat 4 Stone Rhinos. I think that's pretty much what we've seen every single drop 5 here for this tournament in Division A at least is Shadowcat 4 Stone Rhinos. We have, I think actually that's wrong. We did see other 100-tonners. We did see Direwolves come from Fidelis Machina, I think a week or two ago. But generally, it's been the 400-tonners and the Shadowcat coming to this last drop. So both these teams are locked. We're going to launch. We are launching. Good to go. This is such a close series. I'm excited to be able to cast this. And this absolutely determines the winner in this division.
Actually, I think DSC might have less points than you think.
That's possible. That's definitely possible.
I think DSC has. I'm fairly certain it's right now 8-20. I mean, that would put Fidelis in the winner seat, but right now, I think the important thing, if I'm DSC, is I need to win this drop so I get second. Because if DSC doesn't get all 6 points on this drop, Vile takes second place.
Well, hold up. The DSC won the 1v1 and the 2v2s. That's 6 points right there. And then Polar, they got 5 kills and a win, right? So that's also 6 points, unless I'm mistaken. That's 12 right there, just from that set. And then they got 2 kills off of the third Crimson drop. I believe
No,
they got 2 kills.
Fidelis won the duels.
Oh, you are absolutely correct. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me reflect that
DSC,
for everybody
so
watching.
DSC won the 1v1. Basalt won the 1v1 versus Kraz. And then the 2 duels, one was, I'm fairly sure it was Django and Monk. 1-1. And then the other was Carbon. Sorry, it was Carbon and Monk, and they won. And then it was Django and Brower, and they won. So it is 8-20 in favor of Fidelis, and we are in the drop. Chicken Man, Ice Ferret. Nice. So Ice Ferret, 4 Stone Rhinos for DSC.
Over for
Assault's got ER large.
Fidelis
Hollow's got
Machina,
ER large.
we have Monkey Osto Stone Rhino 7, Carbon Fire Stone Rhino 2, Navid Stone Rhino 1, Krasna Pesky and an Axum, and then JP Django and the Shadowcat. So let's look at the builds here. Monkey Osto, yeah, ER larges, ER mediums. Hollow, ER larges, ER mediums. Direwolf saying ER larges, ER mediums. Basalt, Goss, ER large. Chicken Man, 4 SRM 6 and an Ice Ferret J. That is
Yeehaw.
a ballsy build. I like to see it. I think I could actually put in some work here on this all assault drop.
Oh, and he is going on
Yes,
a
he
long
is. He's
flank.
going on a mission. I think which could be really good here as we see JP Janko headed to Kappa from the first person perspective. We see Carbon Fire, double Hag 40, dual ER large on the Stone Rhino 2. Very strong, I think, setup for that. And then Navid kind of positioning towards Theta with the AC10 PPCs. Krasnodebski, obviously, double Ultra 10, 4 Ultra 5s here. Chicken Man's going on an adventure. He's going using the speed of this Ice Ferret. Fidelis has no idea. I think this could be a big potential for an outplay here, but I like Fidelis Machina's mechs better for where they're positioning on this map.
Yeah, they're an absolute Swiss Army knife. They have every Stone Rhino under the sun.
But they have great trade power at mid-range and great, like, just trade power in general. Like, Carbon Fire Stone Rhino, that's a nasty trader with all those high mounts and that extremely high alpha going on here. And we do see Krasnodebski and Navid Stone Rhino, the 2 Daka Rhinos pushing through Theta here, combined with... Okay, no, he's still in the high ground, so we do see the Daka Rhinos pushing through Theta. This could be disastrous if DSC does not scout this, and they do not have a scout, because Chicken Man is now on Epsilon. I think this is super dangerous what he's doing, though. This is
Well, one
super
thing to think about
dangerous.
is Carbon,
He needs to
his
be
first
careful.
trade against that team lost 25%.
Right.
Um,
And that's
it'd
kind
be
of a
interesting to see how
consequence.
willing to fight he is. Oh man, Chicken Man is the protagonist, dude. Look at this.
We'll see.
He
if
is-
I'm worried for him because if he tries to jump on
Oh,
this
no.
Backstone Rhino right now, then Carbon Fire will just turn around and blow him up. So he has to isolate this 1v1. And also, JP Django Shadowcat is just not that far away. So he is diving in here, it looks like. Chicken Man, oh my goodness. They have no idea. Absolutely clueless. He's
Oh, he's gonna get right behind him.
He's going right for this. That's not going to be a one-shot, though, because it's only a couple SRMs. He's going to go for the next shot. That doesn't kill him either. He's now in front of him.
Oh, the map!
He halved him.
Yes.
He halved him. He halved him. He's still not dead, though. It's taken him too long. The other Stone Rhino is going to be on him in just a second here. Just a split second. I believe this is Monkey Asta going down in the Stone Rhino. Yes, it is. He's still not dead, though. He finally goes down, but too little, too late. Shadowcat
No,
coming
that
in.
is.
Shadowcat
That's a
coming
beautiful
in,
trade.
and Carbon Fire coming in here, and now he's pinched. I like DSC taking advantage of this. They've taken the map from Fidelis. They've cornered Fidelis into a hole, but Chicken Man's just getting 2v1'd here. I just don't think he can do this. He is going to get away. He will
He
get
could
away
get carbon.
here.
I mean, he's definitely being greedy about it, but he could definitely get carbon
The
here.
Shadow Cat looked the wrong way. He got another shot on carbon. He took 10% there just from that. And he's going to take more from the Shadow Cat chasing him. He needs to get out. He is getting out. He's still relatively fresh, though. Fidelis Machina losing these trades. Far as I can tell, Navid basically orange now, 69%. Carbon Fire, of course, 53%, getting ran on by the Ice Ferret. And very importantly, because they took advantage of JP Django having to run away and help their Stone Rhinos, DSC got the cat for free.
Here comes Chicken on carbon, and he is halved.
He comes back around. Oh my goodness. Chicken Man actually hard carrying right now. He's actually hard carrying his team with his flanks. Oh my goodness. The Ice Ferret tech, the SRM Ferret tech, gentlemen, he kills JP Django.
That blows Django out of the sky. Nice.
Hollow does go down to Krasnopesky and Navid's combined fire, but that's it. There's nothing more to say. DSC has won this drop convincingly. Now it's a matter of how many kills do they give up to Fidelis Machina here. Fidelis Machina, after I adjusted the points, is quite a bit ahead as far as points are concerned. But if they do get the full 6 and they don't hand too many extra kills to Fidelis Machina, then this could be big. But the match is not over yet, though, because Chicken Man is very hurt. Direwolf Sang is red 61%. Basalt is 54% red. Only Nyander is fresh.
Now, 88, that is very fresh, though.
So looking at Carbon Fire, of course, stripped. Nyander completely fresh. We see Direwolf Sang actually pretty fresh, except for that right torso is one shot. But, of course, these Stone Rhinos take torso hits. Like, they take being halved very nicely. Basalt open both sides. Chicken Man, open left, almost open CT and right. No, very little to no leg damage, though. And then Navid is halved. Right torso open. And Krasnopesky
I think Chicken sends it. Let's go Chicken.
I think he does, too. But, of course, they have to be careful. They can't give up too many kills here to Fidelis Machina. And Fidelis Machina has great burst. One good burst will kill most of these DSC mechs other than Nyander.
They got a whiff. They know that Chicken's there. They're starting to shoot him, but he's taking a good path.
DSC is closing in for the kill with this stamp, like just absolutely rampaging, stampeding herd of Stone Rhinos, just all moving to finish up this kill on Navid and Krasnopesky here. And then I think they're going to get it, too, very easily. Krasnopesky might be able to trade out one. We'll see, though. He is trying to trade out Direwolf. Direwolf has halved 41%. He is almost dead, but Nyander's just fresh. Just an absolute battering ram in this matchup right now. There goes Krasnopesky to Nyander. Navid's trying to get this extra kill, because kills do matter, but Chicken Man, the Ice Ferret, comes and kills him before he gets to do that. And then Carbon Fire goes down, and that's it.
Oh. And only allowing one kill in the process.
That was very well played by DSC. Chicken Man in particular, fantastic flanking from that Ice Ferret. That was absolute. I think when Fidelis Machina went into that match and saw 445, they were not expecting an Esrom Ice Ferret to run around the back of the map and gank their Stone Rhinos. So, JP Django, unfortunately, we'll pull up the damage here real quick.
Yeah, Django got nuked. Turning around to respond to Chicken's flank. I mean, he got shredded on the whole way there. And, you know, no surprise the Axum farms, right? But I think losing Carbon and losing Monk that early, that's the obvious dagger. I mean, it's like you said, Chicken solo carried.
So we do see, I think, some of the highest damage I've ever seen in a comp game in years. Maybe not the absolute highest, but some of the highest damage I have seen in absolutely years, particularly in a 5v5 coming out for Krasnopesky. Star performance from that Axum. Obviously a very powerful mech that DSC did not have an answer to with all those lasers on their Rhinos, and the Gaussier Large for that matter. 1,300 damage from Krasnopesky. Just hard carrying, honestly. Very well done to him, but we do see Monkey Osto, only 113, got zoned out by all the range that DSC's Rhinos had, and then, of course, JP Django. The thing is that Shadowcat just doesn't have range, and Polar is a pretty flat open map, honestly, here. So, like, what is that Shadowcat really going to do? Not much, honestly. And we do see, let me update the points here for those watching. So still pretty close series. If my totals are updated, we're at 21-14. No, it should,
And
it should
with
be more
that-
than that. It's more than that, actually, I think.
No, that's exactly what it is.
21-14. Fantastic. Okay. I've redeemed my bad math and inputting skills. All right. So that makes Fidelis Machina the winner of this series. Well done. Very convincing performance in the early drops. And, of course, in the 2v2s counted. That is going to be it, though. And I believe that means, because Fidelis Machina, sorry to interrupt you here real quick, was a little bit ahead. That means Fidelis Machina, I believe, wins Division A, because they were a little bit ahead coming into this, and they score way ahead here, about 10 or 8 or so points over in this series. So congrats to Fidelis Machina for winning Division A.
The bonus bit is DSC, by getting 14 points, goes from 101 to 115, tying Vile. What's the next tiebreaker? Is it not kills?
I think it's head-to-head, isn't it? It's head-to-head or kills. It's interesting. So that is a tie.
It's a long list of tiebreakers.
Yeah, it's a long list of tiebreakers coming in here. So that'll be interesting to see who ends up getting second and third.
Okay, tiebreaker.
Let's see.
First tiebreaker is kills. Oh boy. All right, hold on.
I have no clue the kills that both
Let's
teams
get the math books out of here.
I'm not sure. I have no idea. But no, a very, very convincing win for Fidelis Machina. Well done today, and well done on the division win. So we can get that math real quick, and we'll call it off.
I think Vile maintains second place.
Interesting. Have to look at it later. That sounds correct based on my knowledge of the games played.
Bear, update the scores! Yeah, it looks like Vile's scored 99 points, which would mean 99 kills. DSC has 85 right now.
No, because 99 is not just kills, right? Because you get a point for winning each series.
No, that's individual scores.
Oh, I see.
The total points is 115.
Right. Okay. Well, there you have it. So if that is correct, then that means Fidelis Machina is our Div A winners. We have Vile in second place, and we have DSC in third place. And I think
from MWO Leagues, math is hard.
Absolutely. I think that is going to be all she wrote for the stream tonight. Thank you, Jay, for co-casting with me.
Thank you, Bowser, for casting.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. Apologies for some of the hiccups during the stream. It's my first time running the stream, so it will be much smoother in the future. And see you guys next time.
Wait, don't close the stream. Do you have to wait for it to... How does this work?